Okay, let's have a look at the US dollar because my feeling is that we have a high in place following FOMC last night. We had a wrong direction move, which is pretty common, and then a reversal today. So by my estimation, we have a high in a number of pairs. Now, if it's a temporary high or something a bit more long-term for a few weeks or maybe even a couple months, I don't know. But I will propose the two counts. Now we just outstretched, or rather we just broke out of the reversal area I had here, but it's just an estimated area. This hasn't, the area I've been pointing up recently, the 55 EMA, it tagged that on the monthly and has reversed. Now looking at the count, I'm looking at this two ways. I can propose that wave 3 is in here. It's pretty simple to follow. For wave 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then wave 3 itself, wave 5 of wave 3 extends, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5 of 5 of wave 3 extends, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that would put a high in here for wave 3. However, I am also looking at this a bit more bearishly. This view is less likely because we don't have daily divergence on the chart, but I'm looking at it this alternative way. I will explain why. I'm looking at it possibly as 3, 4 for the triangle and 5 here. So because on the 4-hour, I can count this as one wave up. So that would work for a wave 5 of wave 3 into here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wave 4 for the triangle and 5 waves out of that. So wave 5 would actually come in here. It doesn't look great, and there's no divergence on the chart as you usually get between waves 3 and 5. But the reason I'm entertaining it is because if we think back to January when we were looking at the DX and thinking that the January down move would be a correction and another high would come, if you look at the DX itself, there was a very subtle, very small wave 4 and 5 in at the top here, which completed the entire 5-wave run from April 2016. And that gave us the peak in the dollar. So this type of like small, subtle, not suspicious, a sneaky gyration to complete a move is the kind of thing that I'm going to hold as possible in Euro US dollar. So whether this is totally wave 5 here or just wave 3, of wave 3 of the advance from January, and then we have wave 4 and wave 5, and then a bigger reversal. I'm not sure, but those are the two counts I'm looking at. And I feel that we are in this area for reversing. Now keep in mind, because of the very bullish monthly divergence, I would expect a 3-wave correction to be small. So let me just make this very clear. Whether this is wave 5 here or it's just wave 3, I am going to view a 3-wave correction as a buying opportunity. Because the count can always change, the count can always morph. The count is a human applied, strategy system. So it doesn't matter. I'm holding this bullish and I'm going to look at a 3-wave correction to be a buy signal. I feel that right now I'm going to treat today's high as a high-in and a correction to follow. Now we do also have the price gap down here. That may be filled eventually on a bigger correction, but it's a small gap. There's no guarantee that traders will pay any attention to it. And because of the monthly bullish divergence, I'm not going to look for a move back to 108 now. I'm going to look for a move back to 114, 113 area and see what happens there. I'm also a bit more confident about this because of the other dollar pairs. In cable, we're at the top of the inner wedge of the larger wedge. So I'm looking at this to reverse up here. See what kind of movement emerges, but it is more than enough here to start a new down move. We've had 5 swings into here, and we've had 5 swings within the wedge as well. So, of course, I don't know if this is a leading 1 or a larger wave 4, but I presented 2 options, and I just have to take it as it comes on the lower time frames. Aussie US dollar, I put this on Twitter today. 5 waves up from the triangle thrust. So this is done. Now, can it continue to move higher? Yeah, maybe, but this segment here looks like it's done. That's 5 waves in my view, and that's a very bearish reversal candle there. Now on the bigger time frames, it's possible that it does extend, but I'm saying that this current idea of 5 waves up is done. So if we see a correction and then another move up, maybe, but I think that for the time being, along with cable and Euro US dollar, I'm going to take Aussie US dollar bearishly. The 5 waves out of here is a signal and a warning. And same with New Zealand US dollar. I talked about this a few times. We needed to see a high above here, the 2016 high. And it's also putting in a bearish move now. So far, it's just been a 3-wave move from the low here in May. That's it. So it's corrective, and I'm going to look for a down move in this, and keep in mind that New Zealand US dollar has a very extreme long COT commitment by traders. Or rather, how can I put it? Traders are very much committed to the long side in this. Over 30,000 long side contracts, and that is an historical extreme in New Zealand US dollars. So if any of the pairs is going to plummet from a high, I would suspect it's going to be New Zealand US dollar. Okay, now going to US Canadian pairs, I've been talking about standing back from these because we've reached the target. Now I had the target on here. If you watch the past videos from April, you know I had the target from 137.50 to 124 or 123. And we hit 124 this week. The move is finished. Now, I don't think the whole move is frankly finished. I think that my projection of the move, my target for the move has been reached. And I put a count on it today. I do feel we're going to get a bigger correction now. If there's a small correction in here, I'm going to look for a bigger correction up here, trend line area, and then another move down to complete 5 down. So I put a new count on it today. The count again is just a guide. It's nothing more than that. I'm looking at it as 1, 2. I had to ditch the triangle idea here, obviously. 1, 2, 3, 4, and wave 5 extends. So wave 3 into here. I want to see wave 4. We can look for wave 4 towards 1, 2, 8. There's a huge amount, keep in mind, there's a huge amount of divergence on the 4-hour chart. So I will look for a couple 100 points up in this. Let's see what kind of correction we get on the smaller time frame. But I am looking for a move to 128, 129, and then another move down. So don't be surprised if we see a big move up. Wave 4 is here, typical retracement area. There's also, it might just make it to wave 4 here. I don't know, but those are the guides. You know, wave 3 usually retraces to wave 4 of 1 lower degree. So those are the areas and the trend line here. Now, Euro Canadian, I talked about this on Twitter again. Don't be a hero and stand in front of this. It's self-explanatory with the trend lines. If this is going to be a bearish view, a 1, 2, 1, 2, it needs to kick in because it's not looking like that right now. If we can see a breakout here and a bullish flag and then a move up, I would take it literally as a long move. But right now it's in the middle of nowhere, just let it resolve. Same with Aussie Canadian. Let it resolve. The wedge idea did ultimately work out here. So if there's a bullish flag here again, there will be a chance to buy that. I would look for that in the lower time frames. I am preferring an up move in these dollar pairs now. So even though there's no breakout in Euro Canadian, that is my preferred view just now. It's just that without any evidence, I don't want to even think about touching it. And New Zealand Canadian is still gyrating around this line. No change there. But in any case, yeah, I think US Canadian is finally going to put in a correction here. Other pairs, Euro New Zealand, it appears to be breaking down here. I still like the idea of another move down before the next big move up overall. Now, Euro Australian is in a bit of a different situation. This pair is looking more bullish overall. I'm kind of preferring a further move down. I would like to see the divergence hold. Keep in mind something like this possibly on New Zealand US dollar, where we had this divergent situation here and then the big rally. If something like that appears again, I will be taking it. What I would just say about Euro Australian is you keep in mind the gap here, French presidential gap. Now on the lower time frames on Euro Aussie, you can make a case that there was a 5-wave advance here. I don't really like it, but it's possible as 1, 2, 3, 4, and wave 5 extends in 5 waves. And then we've had a 3-wave correction. So if it does make another low or corrects off this and there's a bullish signal, it's open to that. So there's no guarantee it's going to come down once more. I'm just saying it's possible because today's candle is a bit weak. But keep in mind that some traders may be viewing this as a bullish situation. But whether it comes down more or it turns around in this region, I am looking for a bullish move in Euro Australian dollar ultimately. This is the 5-wave advance. And I'm looking for another move up above 152. And Aussie New Zealand, no development yet. It's starting to roll over. My view on the weekly is that I'm holding it to the downside for now. But on the lower time frames, it hasn't done anything. It's just hanging on here. I'm going to keep bearish on this for the time being and look for a Z wave. However, if I'm open to another plan, as I mentioned before, it is possible to view this as Y here. We start off with a 3-wave move, we have a 3-wave correction, and we then see a 5-wave advance for a whole corrective pattern. That's possible. So I'm not going to permanently stay bearish. I'm going to stay bearish on the current pattern and current price movement. It's just because it hasn't done anything yet. I'm growing a little suspicious of it. But let's see, the bears are in control for the time being. On the weekly time frame, the bears are in control. Gold and silver, I will go over on the weekend because I have a bullish view on them, but I need to see the close on Monday at the end of the month. And that's it. So the key right now is a possible reversal in the dollar pairs. Possible. And I'll take it from there. Okay, bye-bye.